Well, guys, aliens have finally invaded. It's happened. Actually, no, BAKKT actually just launched. And it had less of a splash than we thought. Now, if I were to look at price action right now, I would say it's having a negative effect on the market, as many times futures actually does. Bitcoin has dropped about $50 since it has launched, and XRP has gone back 0.03 of a cent or 3/10 of a cent. But that's really not that much information to go on. So far, I would say it's been pretty much net neutral for cryptocurrencies overall. This might come as a big disappointment for some people, but it's actually not a big disappointment for me or anyone who's been watching my channel or anyone who's actually, been following the crypto market. I know a lot of those XRP videos say it's the most eventful thing for XRP ever since whatever, but it actually doesn't have anything to do with XRP because they're neither offering XRP spot trading or XRP futures. It is only physically backed Bitcoin futures. So because of all these misconceptions online, we're going to actually review what BAKKT is. As of 8 p.m. Eastern Time on September 22nd, UTC 0.00 UTC September 23rd, which means it's already been opened because America is behind the rest of the world by a couple of hours. BAKKT much anticipated BTC futures trading has launched, which means it's already operational. It's actually about 4 in the afternoon in China and Japan right now. The platform is the first one of its kind to receive approval from the United States regulators and is a product of ICE, the operator of the New York Stock Exchange. Now, just because it hasn't had a positive or much of a negative effect now does not mean it will not, because US trading hours have not opened and most of the BAKKT users are probably going to be in the United States. So we'll have to see what happens around 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is only 6 hours away, so we don't have that long to wait. So BAKKT is basically physically backed Bitcoin futures, and it has approval from the CFTC. So CME and CBOE currently offer Bitcoin futures, but these trades are cash settled. BAKKT is different. It is physically settled futures contracts and lets client get Bitcoin rather than its equivalent value in fiat currency once the contract expires. What does this mean? That means clients will actually hold Bitcoin once the contract expires, and they'll have to hold Bitcoin as kind of collateral as well. So that's actually much better for crypto market than cashback futures because you can double short or double long, and it's much harder to do that if it's physically backed Bitcoin futures. So it probably will not have the devastating effect. And as I said, Bitcoin just went down another $30. It will probably not have the same devastating effect that CBOE and CME had with their Bitcoin futures, because futures are generally just another way to manipulate the price of something without actually holding much of that thing. So technically, in the long run, it should actually increase the demand for Bitcoin because you have to hold Bitcoin and you get paid in Bitcoin on this platform. Short term wise, I didn't really expect much. Of course, on the alts, I didn't really expect anything at all. The only thing I sort of maybe expected is that Bitcoin, alts might lose a little bit with respect to Bitcoin once this actually came out. CBOS is actually also coming out today, so for the financial alts, maybe we'll see something there. CBOS should have pretty much already started by now because it should be about 10 or 11 London time at this point, which is where CBOS is actually being hosted this year in London, one of the financial capitals of the world. So BAKKT also has a $125 million insurance policy, and that's protecting Bitcoin stored in their warehouse. So they're going to pay out in Bitcoin. You have to have Bitcoin to collateralize. So it should actually spur up the demand for Bitcoin. Now, like I said, this is more of a long-term thing. It provides the cryptocurrency market with regulation and stability. Not stability, like credibility. It doesn't really influence a huge amount of Bitcoin buying right now because BAKKT, like they've said, they've already acquired a $125 million insurance policy, and they've already acquired the Bitcoin they actually need in their Bitcoin warehouse. I guess that's probably just a data center. So this does represent a leap forward for institutional acceptance of Bitcoin because it's ICE, and it's also backed. It's also approved by the CFTC, so that's regulatory clarity. I think one of the most important things is this probably gets us one step closer to an actual Bitcoin ETF now that a regulated agency has decided to actually accept BAKKT. So that's actually what I'm most excited about BAKKT, not so much the immediate move in price. Once trading starts on Eastern Standard Time, we might see a small pump for Bitcoin. Might go the other way too. because the price really hasn't fluctuated enormously, um, because the price hasn't fluctuated enormously before BAKKT, I don't really expect it to fluctuate after BAKKT. There are several people that says Bitcoin will drop a couple hundred points, but even if it does, we don't know if that couple hundred points drop is from BAKKT or just from Bitcoin sucking. It really could be either one if you really think about it, because Bitcoin has dipped as low as 9,400 and it has gone as high as 10,500 recently. So anything in that $1,000 range, I wouldn't consider out of the ordinary, and I wouldn't attribute to BAKKT. However, if it suddenly goes to 13, 14,000 or suddenly dips to 7,000, then I might actually attribute it to this BAKKT exchange opening. So long term, it's good for the cryptocurrency industry, gives it credibility, and should rise up the demand for Bitcoin. Doesn't really affect alts because it doesn't really have anything to do with alts right now. They might add alts in the future, but I can't really speculate on that right now because it doesn't have alts yet. So that is the my analysis on it. More of a long-term play. Good overall for the market, but indeterminate on what the short-term effects of BAKKT will actually be because there hasn't been that much fluctuation before BAKKT, and I don't really expect a huge amount of movement outside of the normal 9,400 to 10,500 range after it launches. So that's my analysis of BAKKT. Let me know what you think in the comments. I could wake up and be completely wrong by tomorrow, so we'll have to see what this actually does. So let me know what you think in the comments. Like and subscribe. And hit that bell notifications button and join me in my 2 daily streams. Thank you and have a nice day.